I request Bhavan's Executive Director, Dr. Nand Kumar, to come onto the stage and start today's program. Dr. Nand Kumar, ladies and gentlemen.
Namaste. May we all see with our eyes what is auspicious. May we all hear with our ears what is auspicious. With healthy body, mind, and spirit, may we be able to dedicate ourselves for the cause of humanity. May the celestial beings shower their choicest blessings to us so that we may all develop a sense of sacrifice in our lives. May there be peace, peace, and real peace. Om Bhadram Karne Vishnuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangai Estushtvagum Sastanubhi Vyashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho arishtanemihi Swasti no brahaspatir dadhatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. The world is one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. Hence, friends, let noble thoughts come to us from every side. Friends, we all have gathered here today to say our prayers and express our gratitude to one of the most beautiful personalities, one who has contributed arguably more than anybody towards Carnatic music in this part of the world, our dear Srimati SIVASAKTHI SIVANESAN. SIVASAKTHI ji was a household name when it comes to our art and cultures. Somebody who contributed so much to the development of this art, and especially here at the Bhavan. She is the one who built the very foundation of the Bhavan in the field of Carnatic music so strong. With her total commitment, her teaching, her singing, and the way she made sure that children learned everything connected to our culture, not just learning music, not just learning dance, but something more to our art and culture. She always insisted on that, and everything she did reflected this. Today we remember her for all these, the way she strengthened the very personality of every child, not only by her teaching, not only by her way of conducting herself in the class, her discipline, and also by regularly organizing various festivals here at the Bhavan. It could be Shivaratri, it could be Navaratri, it could be any other festival. During Navaratri time, when you went to Shivashakti's room, the whole room was like a mini temple with gold, with all the beautiful dolls, images of gods, etc. there. And all children during those 9-10 days would be totally immersed in what is happening around them. It's only just one example I'm giving you. Everything she organized, there was a special signature of Shivashakti ji there. And we in the Bhavan cannot express our gratitude in words. I'm sure a little later you will be seeing some of the videos and where many, many great artists, plus our vice chairman, our former chairman of our education committee, and our Carnatic music theory teacher, Dr. John Marr, speaking about Shivashakti. the information that you have about today's program, right at the back, what you read is penned by our Dr. John Marr, who was so close to our Shivashakti ji, on Shivashakti ji's insistence that he started teaching Carnatic music theory here. Shivashakti ji not only taught Carnatic vocal, she taught Veena, and she taught music to Bharatanatyam students, and she gave so many concerts, accompanied virtually every Bharatanatyam student of our Prakash ji. And also, she presented many of her own students. Here, her vocal student, there Arangetram, Veena students Arangetram, and also she lent her beautiful voice to many other artists from outside for their dance Arangetram or instrumental Arangetrams like Mridangam or violin. There are many people who are going to speak about Shivashakti and her contribution and what she meant to them. But I would like to mention here, her relationship with every top artist from India was so very special. They all wanted to come to Bhavan. One, Bharati Vidya Bhavan. The second, our Shivashakti ji is there. That was the friendship she had developed from the day she learned music in Madras. From that time, all the artists were in very close contact with her. That's how we were able to invite many, many artists, including our Padma Vibhushan Balamurali ji, her own Guru TV Gopal Krishnan ji, and many others friends. Even Pandit Ravi Shankar ji was very, very fond of Sukanya ji, and Ravi ji were very fond of our Shri Shakti ji. So friends, I would like to conclude with a few sentences about Shivashakti ji's friendship with our dear Prakash ji, who is sitting. Where is Prakash ji? Yes. And they made such a very special team from the day they started teaching here. Seniority wise, Shivashakti ji started teaching here at the Bhavan earlier than Prakash ji, but that was part-time. Prakash ji was the very first amongst others, first full-time teacher. Shivashakti became full-time teacher later. Together, they built this Carnatic music department, lending supporting hands to violin department, Mridangam department. They all worked as one team, one group. And later, they became such good friends of our other teachers like our Chandrima ji, Rajkumar ji, Sanjay, everyone, Bala, Balu, of course. They together, I think they must have provided music and direction to how many, minimum 60 students of Prakash's Bharatanatyam Arangetam students. To all of them she has sung and blessed them. That's a very special relationship. And it took nearly 3.5 decades for them to make it that very special. And today we have lost such Shivashakti. Shivashakti ji became what she was, especially due to the sacrifice of her dear husband, Sri Sivanesan, who is sitting here. She was totally dedicated to art, 24 hours. Why? Because she had such a lovely, lovely husband like our Sivanesan ji, who supported her in everything she did. She could spend hours together here at the Bhavan from morning till evening. He was especially, though he was working in China, he left there and came to London to support Shivashakti ji and her art. Earlier, they were working somewhere in East London, I think, and then one day Mathur ji came across our Shivashakti ji and listened to her singing, and immediately he requested, Shivashakti ji, why don't you come and join the Bhavan? She instantaneously, yes, she said yes. She came here. Since then, not only left their home, sold their home there, and came and started living virtually next door to the Bhavan. Now they have moved about another 20 steps further. But from there, she came here specially to dedicate herself for the welfare of our students in the chosen art form, in their chosen art forms. We can never forget the contribution of our Shivanation, and of course, the invaluable contribution of our Shivashakti ji. Now, I would request our dear Ramnath Khiravo, formerly a student of our Shivashakti ji, and now he's our executive committee member, to come and compare today's program. Shri Ramnath Khiravo.
Namaskaram, everyone. Uncle, friends, family, musicians, human beings, both in this room and across the world. Welcome to what is a very special, a very thoughtful and reflective event. My name is Rama. I'm a director at the Royal College of Art. I was born into the Bhavan and I serve on its executive now. But most importantly, I'm Auntie's student, and that is where I'm standing today. The landscape of Indian music changed, it shifted when Auntie passed. Everyone around the globe knew her as Auntie, and she's the only person that I think many of us called a second mother. She enabled many of us. Her passion for performing and teaching Carnatic music burnt bright in everything she did. It was not just a career for her. It was the passion and the purpose of her soul. She was strict and loving, informed and inspiring, someone who shone and shaded our lives with the many, many tones of grace. We are all grateful to have been on this earth with her and smile with gratitude for her life as she is embraced by eternal nada and eternal music. Our love really does go to you, Uncle, to Shankar Mama, all the family members, all her friends, all her students that we see here today. Grief is bigger than a single person, and today we share our memories and celebrations in a way that we can all feel on a stage that she taught many of us to sing. Auntie always said to me, she believed in me that I could sing even before I believed it. And she also believed that I could speak and write before I believed it. So thinking of her these last few days, I wrote these couple of sentences. That the bird's most powerful flight is its first. Formed from unsteadiness and disbelief, driven by its ancestral memory of touching the sky. And for us, this stage, in this Bhavan, with Auntie, many of us took our first unsteady steps, our first unsteady notes, played and sung on this stage. Auntie made many of us fly and gave us the ancestral memory of music. So today, we honor and remember her with all our love. So on to the first program, the first item. And it's the Veena students, many of whom are my classmates, though looking at them and looking at me, you may see an age difference. And they were all trained by Auntie. We have Pairavi, Roshani, Lakshajani, and Tivaheni. And right in the center, we have Shangari. They will be accompanied in time-honored fashion, and I'm so warm to say this here today, by Shri Balu Raghuraman on the violin, Shri M. Balachandar on the mridangam. On ghatam, we have Prasanna, Kanjira, Dharshan, and Morsing Tanujan. The first item is yours. Invite the Veena girls to come and sit. I realized I got a little emotional, and I did something that Auntie would never forgive me for. I didn't tell you what they just played. It was a Varnam by Dr. M. Balamurali Krishna, Amma Anandadayini, which has a beautiful meaning. It asks for bliss from mother, and it's in Raga Gambiranata. We now move on to two vocal items, and the first one, I can't remember ever being in a concert that Auntie sang where she didn't sing Raga Hamsadwani, you know, the sound of the swan, the vehicle of the goddess Parvati. And odds are she would have sung Enakavendum, which is what we're going to hear now. The second song is dedicated to the goddess Meenakshi, and Auntie would tell us a lot of stories on Sunday morning class about Meenakshi, the fish-eyed goddess. But the particular resonance here is it describes the colors of the different saris that the goddess wears. And all of us in this room knew that Auntie had an amazing landscape and lexicon of saris. And I can't remember ever seeing the same one twice within the same couple of years. And that is a feat in itself. So the vocal performers that join everyone else for this item are Roshani, Lakshajani, Tivaheni, Shivangi, Pairavi, Shangari, Swati, Vaidehi, Meenakshi, Aruna, Shantana, Rhea, Shana, Shivakami, Vanilla, Keshini, and Tanvi. And of course, our accompaniments are still the same. Balu, Bala, Prashanna, Darshan, and Tanujan, as Auntie would have called them.
எனக்கு வேண்டும் வரங்களை இசைப்பேன் கலாகணபதி. எனக்கு வேண்டும் வரங்களை இசைப்பேன் கலாகணபதி. எனக்கு வேண்டும் வரங்களை நூறு வயது கனக்கும் செல்வம் நூறு வயது இவையும் தர நீ கடுவாயே கனக்கும் செல்வம் நூறு வயது இவையும் தர நீ கடுவாயே கனக்கும் செல்வம் நூறு வயது இவையும் தர நீ கடுவாயே எனக்கு வேணும் வரங்களை இசைப்பேன் கலாதர பாட்டி எனக்கு வேணும் வரங்களை இசைப்பேன் கணபதி கணபதி வண்ண வண்ண சேலை கட்டும் மீனாட்சி எந்தன் அன்னமெல்லாம் முன்பதமே காமாட்சி வண்ண வண்ண சேலை கட்டும் மீனாட்சி எந்தன் அன்னமெல்லாம் முன்பதமே காமாட்சி வண்ண வண்ண சேலை கட்டும் மீனாட்சி எந்தன் அன்னமெல்லாம் முன்பதமே காமாட்சி வண்ண வண்ண சேலை கட்டும் மீனாட்சி எந்தன் அன்னமெல்லாம் முன்பதமே காமாட்சி பன்னமுத பூங்குடியில் உனதாட்சி தேவி பன்னமுத பூங்குடியில் உனதாட்சி தேவி கண்ணனின் சகோதரி விசாலாட்சி அருள் பன்னமுத பூங்குடியில் உனதாட்சி தேவி கண்ணனின் சகோதரி விசாலாட்சி அருள் வண்ண வண்ண சேலை கட்டும் மீனாட்சி அன்னமெல்லாம் முன்பதமே காமாட்சி சோமசுந்தரர் மகளும் காமசுந்தரி சோமசுந்தரர் மகளும் காமசுந்தரி பாமலர் பாடி பணிந்தேன் பரமேஸ்வரி மாலே சோமசுந்தரர் மகளும் காமசுந்தரி பாமலர் பாடி பணிந்தேன் பரமேஸ்வரி மாலே பூமகளும் ஆமகளும் போற்றும் பராசக்தி தாயே பூமகளும் ஆமகளும் போற்றும் பராசக்தி தாயே தாமரை பதமலரே கண்தன கருள் செய்வாய் பூமகளும்
Thank you so much. A beautiful rendition of two of the most powerful and popular songs from Auntie. If I could invite the performers to leave the stage. Whilst they are leaving, I just wanted to draw your attention to the slideshow at the back. What you see there is Auntie not just as a teacher, but Auntie in one of her roles as a student. Auntie knew how to be both a guru and a shishya. You would have seen her on screen with many of the music greats, particularly T.V. Gopalakrishnan, Ravi Shankar. You would have seen her with Ram Gopal. And Auntie taught us not just how to learn, but she taught us how to be a student as well. So as we move forward and as we remember her, I think that's one of the things that I will personally take forward with her. We will now go through a series of short tributes from a variety of different people, and I will announce each person in turn. The first is Srimati Parvati Nair, a long-time member of the Bhavan, a long-time friend of Auntie, and also herself a long-time performer on this stage. So Parvati Auntie, can I call you to the stage to please say a few words?
Thank you, Rama. Distinguished guests, respected teachers, artists, and friends. I feel highly privileged to have been asked to speak about our dear Srimati SIVASAKTHI SIVANESAN. She has graced the Bhavan with her melodious rendering and teaching of Carnatic vocal and Veena for over 4 decades. Her high caliber of teaching is evident from the achievements of her students in the forms of recognition and awards from the main arts organizations of UK, Europe, India, and other countries. SIVASAKTHI took the extra effort to impart human values, traditions, and cultural customs of our heritage to build a better society for the future generations through her students. She gave a platform to upcoming artists and also exposed them to the renowned masters of music and dance through Vani Fine Arts, an organization which she established and nourished. She used to emphasize the great principle that learning never ends. It goes on throughout one's life. By setting the example of herself, learning from great musicians. In spite of her very busy schedules and various commitments, she found time to expand and to extend her knowledge and skill. Discipline, devotion, compassion, commitment, and perfection were the great qualities which she possessed. The staff of Bhavan and the Bhavanites will always remember Srimati SIVASAKTHI SIVANESAN's enormous contribution and her glorious life focused and devoted for arts. I am indeed fortunate to have known and worked with this great person and a noble soul.
Thank you, Parvati Auntie. Can I call Dr. K. Shivakumar to the stage, our art and archaeology teacher and a student of Dr. Mar?
Thank you. I feel very honored to have been asked to say a few words. If emotions overtake me or my memory fails, I ask for your forgiveness. Thiru Sivanesan, Bhairavi, Shankarji, all members of the family, of the Bhavan family as well. It is a sad occasion, yet a celebratory occasion to salute a great artist. Just to take you back, she was only 5 when she started learning Carnatic music. She was very fortunate in having had Yarpanam Sri Veeramani Iyer as a guru, someone who she never forgot, someone for whom she worked hard to elevate his position and to pay back what he had so willingly, so lovingly given her. Just one example of that was that Veeramani Iyer had composed 72 Merlakarta ragas, items in those ragas, and she saw to it that the University of Jaffna took charge of that, and he was honored for that feat. Similarly, even after coming to England, she maintained her contact with Iyer and always paid respect to her. As you know, Katpagavalli on Mylapur Katpahambal was one of his favorite preparations, and I think we might see it this evening later. But the important thing I want to emphasize is that she never, ever forgot her guru. She might have achieved great heights, but even after coming to England, as you saw on one of the slides, she had the great T.V. Gopalakrishnan sir as a guru, and again maintained that guru-sishya relationship, which I must emphasize, she inculcated in every one of her students. So it was not only just teaching them music, it was whether it was vocal or veena or with Prakashji, dance, she made sure that they absorbed those ancient cultural values of Bharat, the Guru Sishya Parampara, and the gratitude to teachers, and the respect to teachers, and to make sure that the teachers were satisfied with their performance and that they were making the teachers proud. She always maintained that. That's a great feat. Now, who says 13 is a bad number? Because SIVASAKTHI, auntie as we called her, had her arangetam at the age of 13 in Jaffna, and who presided over it? The great Veena maestro Balachandar. He went all the way to Jaffna and he blessed her at that stage. And wasn't that a brilliant start? And then she went on, later moving to India, learning under the greats like Chittur Subramanya Pillai, like D.K. Jayaraman, like Rajam Iyer, and so on and so forth. Many stalwarts of yesteryear. And they molded, and she got a first class in Carnatic music at the Carnatic Music College. And then, for a short while, she was married to Sri Sivanesan, moved to China, got back, and with an introductory letter from the violin maestro, Lalkudi Sri Jayaraman, she arrived in England and met Mathurji. Guess where she was interviewed? She was interviewed on her way to the Indian High Commission in the car. And the story is that Mathurji asked her to sing a song in Karagara Priya, and I'm sure, thinking back, she would have sung Saraswati Annaye, Saranadainde Unnaye, I surrender myself to you, Saraswati Mata. Now, true to that, she was brilliant, and she continued, and every great artist, and who would have the opportunity to touch the feet of Pandit Ravi Shankar, and here there are many students who have done that. So she made sure that this tradition continued, all the greats were respected, and she inculcated that beautiful property in these children who will never forget her. And many of the children have taken after her, establishing their own school, such as Krishni Janardhanan in Hertfordshire, And also, I just want to emphasize one other aspect, if I may. It was not only music, because she did with her husband, Mr. Sivanesan, they set up Bani Fine Arts and did so much of charitable humanitarian work, covered length and breadth of the east coast of Sri Lanka. Deserving children, they were helped so much. Now, I can go on, but I don't want to. Please forgive me, but I really want to conclude paying my greatest tribute to her, Auntie Sivasakthi, to all of us. Even Dr. Mark calls her Auntie. Why not I? So let's pray for her soul to rest in peace. And I'm sure she's playing the Veena or singing the Samaveda at the feet of Shiva. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And who better to give a small potted history of Auntie's life than Dr. Shivakumar? Could I invite Srimati Chandrima Mishra, who has been a fellow traveler on the journey of music with Auntie, to say a few words?
Namaskar, everyone. I am definitely very honored to be here and to say something about Shiv Shakti Ji. But at the same time, I'm very emotional as well. Because in this stage, in this first row, I cannot count that so many times we sit together here and talk about the program. We sit here. So it's really very tight time for me, definitely. For me, Shiv Shakti Ji means dedication, devotion, and always I see, whenever I come to the Bhavan, from 2003 I know him, know her. Whenever I come to the Bhavan, Saturday, Sunday, she would teaching her student every Saturday, Sunday. And she was so punctual. So punctual every time. I used to come to the Bhavan like 9:20 to 23 in between that time. And every time I could hear her Tanpura is playing and she is teaching. I have got lots of love from her. She gave me lots of love, not only me, to my husband, to my daughter, Sabiri, she loves a lot. I have learned so many things from her. She sent me her student, I sent my student to her, and we worked together. It's just a fantastic journey with her. And I feel she was full of love. All the time, that smiley face, and she gave me a lot of good advice, only good advice, nothing else. And 2 weeks before she left us, we went to meet her. And I cannot forget that one, and I feel really honored and emotional also that she gave me one Tanpura of M.S. Subbalakshmi ji. And she said, Chandrima ji, I want this Tanpura, you to be used, and I know you will use it properly. And after you, please give it to Saberi. So I'm really, really blessed that she gave me that Tanpura. And I pray to God that Sivanesan ji, he was just a loving husband. She kept telling me that, Chandrima ji, I lived my life. Now I'm happy. I'm in pain, but still I'm very much happy. So I pray to God that Sivanesan ji please God, give him that strength to overcome this difficult time, and may her soul rest in peace. Om Shanti.
Thank you, Chandrima. We now bring one of Auntie's family members. She has a real collection of nephews and nieces. Can I ask Shivahami to come to the stage and represent them?
Thank you. Namaste. When I first heard the news that Mommy had passed, I was in such shock. I've never imagined a day in my life where Mommy isn't here. Mama and Mommy have been here for me and my sisters from the minute that we were born, and we literally grew up with 2 sets of parents. Today's performance has probably been the hardest I've ever had to prepare for. Every single time I performed on this stage, Mommy would be here, and I already feel the emptiness in the seat where Mommy would normally sit. Usually, when I'm dancing, I would sneak glances to the front row, make sure Mommy was watching me. It was a habit that I started in my first performance that I never really grew out of. And after the performance, I would go to her house or I would call her and I'd ask her, "What do you think?" And she, without fail, would tell me what she enjoyed and what she didn't. She was always very straightforward with me, never sugarcoating any of my mistakes, but also never holding back with the compliments. Mommy was incredibly strong. She was humble, but she always stood her ground. When I was younger, I would argue with her a lot, and she would tell my mum that she sees a lot of herself within me. Back then, it was probably just a nice way of saying that I'm incredibly stubborn myself. But today I treasure those words. I can't imagine being a fraction of the person that Mommy was, and I still can't. My sisters and I also learnt vocal and vina from her. I have so many memories of her class, and probably my earliest ones in general was going at 9 a.m. and staying there till lunch, and I would be very little, so she would let me rest my head on her lap and take a nap. There are so many significant and insignificant moments that mean everything to me now. Although she was auntie to everyone, to me she was my mommy, my amma. She was a critic, a friend, and a cheerleader. She was the pride and joy of my family, and especially for my grandparents, and she did them proud to the very end. This loss is not something that we can come to terms with easily, but the thought that she is with her beloved Amma and Appa brings some semblance of peace for those she has left behind. Mommy, I love you so much, and I really, really miss you. I know you're still with us in our hearts and will continue your beautiful legacy and take care of your beloved husband. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Shivahami. I think your words speak for all of our heads, our hearts, and our hands. We have two more in-person tributes. Could I invite Srimati Jayashree Rajkotia, one of the stalwarts of the Bhavan, and someone who served this institution and knew Auntie very well. Jayashree Ben, the platform is yours.
Namaste, everybody. When Nandaji, our dear Nandaji, told me that if I can say something, I said, short speech is not enough. Shiv Shakti ji, no matter what we say, is not enough. Her name only says she was Shiv Shakti. The way she taught, she was much, much more than the Guru. Like everybody said, Amma. Yes, she was motherly figure. That's why there were so many students. And I was fortunate. All my 3 daughters joined Bharatnatyam in 1985. And she was her Guru as well. So we were fortunate. And no matter what we say about Shiv Shakti ji, she was beyond that. All of you can see that, and whatever everybody has said is really, to me, coming in Bhavan and meeting Shiv Shakti ji was tremendous joy. She was so nice. And the last sentence, when I met her some time ago, she says, Jayashree Ben, I really like to talk to you. And I will never forget that, because we used to have some conversations, and that was artistic and good. God bless us all. Namaste. Namaste, all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jayashree Ben. Our final in-person message is from our chairman, Joginda Sangar, and it will be read out by Shanti ji, one of the Bhavan members. Shanti, please.
Thank you. The Bhavan was blessed with Shiv Shakti ji's presence, love, and unbounded musical spirit for over 3 decades.
She was not only a dedicated and disciplined teacher, but a motherly figure to all her students. The inspiration she imparted to so many is immense and will bear fruit for many decades to come. Bhavan's chairman, Joginder Sanger, and family.
I think if we were to have everyone who Auntie touched in their lives with her life and with her being and her presence on this planet, we would need to reserve the next month of December. That is the strength. So we apologize that we only had a couple of in-person tributes, but we wanted to share, in these times it's very difficult to travel, but we do have digital technology. So we have 12 short video tributes from some of the giants of the music world and some of the giants in Auntie's world. I'll read the list of names out and then we'll go straight into playing them so I don't have to pop up after every video. The first is from Dr. John Marr, who needs no introduction. Dr. Marr is in his 90s and has single-handedly and solidly championed Indian classical music. And as one of the speakers mentioned, he too called Auntie, Auntie, such was his respect for her. The second is T.V. Gopalakrishnan. Auntie described him as all of her students' grand guru, and TVG Sir was one of the solid influences on Auntie's life. Third is Sudha Raghunathan, one of the foremost performers. Also the fourth, Lal Gudi G.J.R. Krishnan and Vijaya Lakshmi. The fifth is Devi Nethiar, who was TVG's student and a great friend and almost like a sister to Auntie. Then we have a series of people, Sikil Gurucharan, Raj Kumar Bharati, who I think may have been responsible for introducing Anakavendam, the Hamsadwani song, into the lexicon of the Bhavan. P. Unikrishnan, Mandolin U. Rajesh, O.S. Arun, Priya Jayaraman, and finally, the leader of our executive committee, Candida Connolly. So 12 short video tributes, one after the other. Please do have a look.
Friends, the departure of our beloved Vidushi, Srimati SIVASAKTHI SIVANESAN, has hit us all very hard here at the Bhavan and elsewhere in the field of Carnatic music, of which she was such a staunch devotee, protectress, and teacher. And generations of our students cannot thank her enough for the legacy that she has left us all. And I speak personally also, since she invited me to collaborate with her in the teaching of theory and history of Carnatic music. She was a luminary, both as a vocalist and as a veena player, and of course teacher of both. And because in her younger days she had been a dancer too, she was able so ably to give the requisite backing for our dance students. So a whole world of loving care, tuition, remembered by people of all ages. That legacy she has left. And the sad thing is that she herself has left us and her dear husband, Sivanesan. And we are all the poorer for us. And we grieve and bid her soul eternal peace.
Srimati SIVASAKTHI SIVANESAN has attained the legendary position of a great musician, guru, and promoter, all into one. She has become a phenomenon in the art world of the United Kingdom. Yes. For she was a representative for all that is from South India, all the cultural things like vocal music, veena, Bharatanatyam, Attvangam, singing, coaching, presenting, all those things. She did many things, and also she did a lot of work for popularizing late Veeramaniyars of Sri Lanka, Yadpan Veeramaniyar, his compositions, and also many other rare compositions. She sang and also she taught and made those songs popular in the rest of our Western world. She was known to me from the time she was learning the music college, Carnatic College music in Chennai. I knew her from that time, but we became really a family. She became a member of my family almost, because she started learning from me seriously from when I started having my summer school in London. Now it's nearly 4 or 5 decades almost done. And I was always impressed by the focus with which she taught, by the focus which she cared for each student. Whoever passed through SIVASAKTHI's hands, they became not only good musicians, but good people, good socially aware, smart, all savvy people, girls, boys and all that. Her service in the London Bhavan, in one way, she was an exclusivity for her, but the other way, because she was not otherwise, if she were only in Chennai, she would have been much more, globally known by her own performances and the way her own music was. But I personally feel that what she did with the Bhavan and from the environments that she had in London, she had done an impossibly voluminous work in the field of music and dance. Her absence is a great void for our music in the United Kingdom. May her soul rest in peace. And my condolences to Sri Sivanesan. It was like family, very close to us. I don't have many words to express what I feel inside, in my family also.
வணக்கம். லண்டனைச் சேர்ந்த சிவசக்தி சிவனேசன் ஒரு நல்ல சங்கீத வித்வாம்சினி. அவர்கள் என்னுடைய நடுநாளைய நண்பர். ஒரு 25 ஆண்டுகளுக்கு மேலாக எனக்கு அவரோட பழக்கம் உண்டு. அவரை நினைக்கும் போதே சில விஷயங்கள் உடனே கண் முன்னாடி தோன்றுகின்றன. ஒன்று, இசை மேல் அவருக்கு இருந்த எல்லையற்ற பக்தி. சொல்லப்போனா அவர் சுவாசிக்கும் காற்றே இசைதான். அவருக்கு உயிராக திகழ்ந்தது இசை. எப்போ பார்த்தாலும் இசை இசை இசை, பாட்டு பாட்டு, அங்கே கேட்டேன் இங்கே போனேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் நிறைய நாட்டிய நிகழ்ச்சிகளுக்கு பாடுவது, நிறைய. ரொம்ப அன்பானவர். அவரும் சரி, அவருடைய கணவர் சிவனேசனும் சரி, எப்போ அங்கே போனாலும், அவர் இல்லத்துக்கு போனாலும் இன்முகத்தோட வரவேற்று உபசரித்து, மறக்க முடியாத விஷயங்கள். அவருக்கு என் மேலேயும் அளவு கடந்த அன்பு. அதே மாதிரி என்னுடைய குருவான திரு டிவிஜி அவர்களை அவரும் தன்னுடைய சொந்த குருவாகவே பாவிச்சார். டிவிஜி சார் இசையமைத்த நாட்டிய நாடகங்களுக்கு அவர் ஒளிப்பதிவுக்காக வந்தபோது நானும் கூட இருந்து பணியாற்றிருக்கேன். இதெல்லாம் மறக்க முடியாத சம்பவங்கள். சென்னையிலிருந்தோ இந்தியாவிலிருந்தோ லண்டனுக்கு யாராவது போகணுன்னா சிவசக்தி தான் முதல் ஞாபகத்துக்கு வருவாங்க. அவர்கள் இன்று நம்மிடையே இல்லை, சமீபத்தில் மறைந்து போனார் என்றாலும் அவருடைய அன்பும் அவர் சுவாசிக்கும் இசையும் என்றும் நம்முடன் இருக்கும் என்பதில் ஐயமில்லை. அவருக்கு என்னுடைய அஞ்சலிகள்.
Namaskaram. I'm here to speak about my very dear friend, Srimati SIVASAKTHI SIVANESAN. I really cannot believe that I'm speaking at a memorial event for this wonderful person, hosted by Bhavan, London, Sri SIVANESAN, the family, and students of Srimati SIVASAKTHI. Maybe because I've been away from seeing her over the last 2 years, I still cannot believe the thought that she is no more with us. A lady with so much of life in her, so much happiness, joy, and the will to live life to its fullest, has been taken away from us. My pranams at her feet, and I thank all these wonderful people who have curated this event and put it together for all our sakes. I cannot imagine a Carnatic music scenario in London or the Bhavan without the presence of SIVASAKTHI Akka. If there was one person who gave so much of herself as a guru, as a teacher, mentor, as a friend, as someone who loved to shower her affection on all her students, thinking of them as her own children, I think it could only be her. For over 3 decades, she has worked unswervingly with so much of dedication, commitment, perseverance. You know, the joy of sharing what she knew to be passed on to the next generation. As a person, I have told you that she was very affectionate. She would always laugh out, laugh at jokes, make jokes, and just be a true friend with all of us. As a musician, her scholarship needs to be placed on record now. She was a good, sound, aesthetic veena player. She learned music under stalwarts, and hence the jnana, the knowledge in Carnatic music that she had accumulated and brought within herself was of very high standards. SIVASAKTHI Akka was a very strict teacher who laid a lot of emphasis on discipline maintenance. She wished that her students should be punctual in their attendance. And when it came to singing, she would always say that Shruti Shuddham and Tala Shuddham should be there, as well as expressing the lyrics in the right way, be it whichever language that they sang in. All in all, I think we have lost a wonderful person. Leave aside the fact, teacher, friend, wife, a family member, whatever. The person that she was is going to be very much missed, especially by people like us who have had an opportunity to interact with her on a personal level. Om Shanti. May she be peaceful wherever she is now.
Our dear friend, dear friend, our dear friend Srimati SIVASAKTHI SIVANESAN's passing is not only a loss to the institution London Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, but a personal loss too. Srimati SIVASAKTHI SIVANESAN and London Bhavan were inseparable. She started serving this institution from the days of Mathurji and did so till the end. She was one person blessed with so many rare qualities. A musician with in-depth knowledge of music, a vocalist endowed with a classical voice, a helping, giving, energetic, positive person who made sure that her students would benefit in every possible way. She was such a passionate guru. Whenever musicians from India visited London, Sri Sivanesan and Srimati SIVASAKTHI would make all arrangements to make sure that the musicians performed in Bhavan, and also on top of it gave a workshop so that the students benefited. They would extend all sorts of hospitality to make the musicians comfortable.
SIVASAKTHI Akka was a huge fan of our Guru and our music too. Last time in 2018, when I visited London for a concert, I also visited the Bharatiya Vidya Bhavan, London, to conduct a workshop, and I taught some of my father's, my Guru's compositions. Akka was not in great health then, but still her enthusiasm, her commitment was amazing. She stayed through the workshop, making sure all her students absorbed the nuances that were there in the compositions. And during the workshop, many times, she was moved to tears by the beauty, the aesthetic quality of the music that was shared. And she also recalled many beautiful anecdotes when she met our Guru, and how she got introduced to his music, and how she herself learned a few compositions under him. I'm sure her students will continue the legacy with the same passion and commitment and make their Guru proud.
Namaskaram to everybody. I speak to you with a very heavy heart today. We've lost not only a great musician and a guru, but one of the most lovable and sweetest people I have ever met. She was like a mother to all her students, and she was so caring. And to me, she was so encouraging, so sweet, and so kind. We'll really miss you, SIVASAKTHI auntie. And uncle, our heartfelt condolences to you and family. Please take care. And may God give you the strength to bear this irreparable loss. Take care. Lots of love to you. And namaskaram.
Ellarku namaskaram. This is Mandalini Rajesh. It's very shocking and still can't believe that SIVASAKTHI auntie is not with us. I have no words to say because I'm not able to come to terms that she's not with us physically, but definitely she's in a very, very, very better place where she's singing for the gods. An amazing personality, great music connoisseur, great singer. In fact, Yadada Pudu album Barna, she sends us, and then it's amazing bonding we had with both auntie and uncle. I pray that she's always happy and blissful with God up there. And I pray for uncle that please be strong. Our prayers are always there. Namaskaram.
I'm sure SIVASAKTHI auntie is watching this video, watching this entire event, but in a much happier, healthier, and a more peaceful form, I would say. She's right up there to bless us all, and she is just moved to being a real angel from being a human angel all this while. It was not until 2014 that I actually came to know this wonderful person called SIVASAKTHI auntie. Right until then, it was more about meeting her generally in concerts and getting to know about her rather than getting to know her personally. I still remember once after my concert in Bharatiya Bhavan that she had attended, but she had to leave early. I even tried contacting her, but I couldn't reach her. So she remained that evasive person until 2014 when she invited me to be part of the Bhavan Summer School in July. And that actually created a bond so strong that I still cannot believe that she's no more. Especially my wife, who was pregnant with our first child when we were in Bhavan in July 2014. Auntie and uncle took so much care of her, and especially auntie, she made sure that my wife got every attention that she needed during that special time. And she went out of her way to cook meals that were really tasty. And although we were staying in Bhavan, we spent a lot of time in their house, chatting about music, chatting about life in general, and chatting about many different things. And I was so enthralled at the way she bonded with me and my wife. And ever since that time, she has remained an inseparable person in our lives. And thanks to Auntie, I got to explore the wealth of Thiru Veeramani Ayya's compositions, and I also had the good fortune of releasing an album consisting of the songs that Auntie chose that she wanted me to perform and record as an album. And I'm greatly indebted to her for giving me that opportunity. I know that for many of us, a visit to London will not be the same again now that Auntie is no more, but it is our responsibility to carry on the ideals, carry on the music that she so wholeheartedly supported and endorsed. It is our duty to make sure that the art form continues to grow through different generations of students. And I wish and pray Almighty to give her more music, more peace wherever she is. And I'm sure she is watching all of us and blessing every single day in our lives.
Namaskar. I'm deeply saddened and shattered to know that Srimati SIVASAKTHI SIVANESAN is no more. She's no more with us. Srimati SIVASAKTHI was a wonderful artist, a great musician, a great Vainika, a great teacher, and above all, a wonderful human being. I still remember the lovely moments I spent with her in London, and she was so hospitable. And the other best quality in her was she always wanted to help artists, performing artists, her fellow musicians. And she was very warm with everybody. And when I used to have lunch with her almost every day. And she also, there were occasions that she made sure that she took me out also for dinner. And I will always remember, wherever she is, she will bless us. And I pray Almighty for her soul to rest in peace. Om Shanti.
Srimati SIVASAKTHI SIVANESAN, a name which has been carved in the annals of the music world in London and UK. SIVASAKTHI auntie, as I know, as a very devoted and a very dear student, disciple of Abba, Dr. T.V. Gopal Krishnan. Even though I've had very brief interactions with her during her trips to India, I was always awed at the passion of her wanting to share the glory of Carnatic music to the rest of the world. I became really close to her for the past couple of years, and her ability to rub off her passion of being in music to any student who came her way without compromising on discipline and quality is something which I shall definitely try to emulate. We miss you, SIVASAKTHI auntie, and I can only promise that we will be here to be of any help to your very dear SIVANESAN uncle, whom we all respect and love for being such a strong pillar for you always. We miss you.
Hello, and I'm sorry I cannot be with you here in person, but I'm honoured to be asked to share this memorial event for our beloved SIVASAKTHI. And I speak as chair of the Education Committee, and we are so grateful to all that she brought to the Bhavan, the London Bhavan, and its Carnatic vocal tradition. She created a vibrant school as the London Bhavan teacher with so many distinguished students who reached their Arangetrams under her tutelage and went on to take the Carnatic music to their friends and to the wider world of London. Her classes were always full of such strong, vibrant singing, and the corridors rang with her sound. Her legacy over this 40-year period will be the creation of this rich body of learning and the art form in London, supported by visiting teachers that she worked so tirelessly with from India, such as TVG and Balamurali Krishna. So we remember her and are so grateful for all that she did with her commitment and her dedication and her own performances. The Bhavan has been blessed with her work. Thank you.
So for those of you who were counting, you would have seen, let me take this off, force of habit. For those of you who were counting, you would have noted 11 videos, not 12. The video by Srimati Priya Jayaraman didn't work, but can I invite Shanti ji from the Bhavan? to come and read her message in person.
Our family has been associated with Shivashakti auntie and Sivanesan uncle for the last 30 years. For years, we have been going to London for workshops, and their house has always been a home away from home. That is the kind of person auntie was. She had the heart that cared completely. She had the smile that brought so much pleasure. She had the love that brought joy beyond measure. She was a wonderful musician and teacher, and I can assure you that she will be missed by all those who knew her. My deepest heartfelt condolences to her family. We will all miss you. The life of one we love is never lost. Its influence goes on through all the lives it ever touched. I would like to conclude with saying my mother always said, and that is close to my heart, the song may be over, but the melody will linger on. May her soul rest in peace. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Dr. Priya Jayaraman.
Thank you, Shanti, for standing in for Priya. We end this evening with 3 different items. And can I invite the performers for the next item onto stage? This will be violin performed by Sri Balu Raghuraman with Rohit, Sharanya and Vanilla. On sitar will be Sujaya. On tabla will be Sri Rajkumar Mishra. And on mridangam will be Balasa or Sri Balachandar. So please give us a minute or two to set the stage. short melody in the raga Hamsadwani. If you could please bear with us whilst we reset the stage for the last two items, and then we'll rejoin you shortly.
Check, check. 1, 2, 1, 2. Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank you all for coming. It's been a difficult month for many of us who are close to Auntie. Auntie Shridhati, as my brother and I used to call her a lot when we were young. I miss you. I love you so much. I wish I could have told you this when you were still alive. I remember whenever we would perform on stage, you would always be sitting at the front row, right in the middle, exactly where Uncle is sitting right now. And I would always look at you and your thalam all the time. I wouldn't look anywhere else. Today I sing without anyone to look at. I'm going to sing a song written and composed by Subramanya Bharati. I first heard this song when I was at Auntie's house, and she had played me a video of a Guru, TVG sir, singing this song on YouTube. The moment I first heard it, immediately I liked it a lot. And in the back of my mind, I was telling myself, I have to learn this song. And so when I went back to Aberdeen University, in my spare time, I would be listening to this song. And I didn't tell Auntie that I was learning it. And once I had learnt it, I recorded myself singing it, and I sent it to Auntie. And after about 5 minutes, I had received a call from Auntie, and she was so happy. She was so filled with exuberance and so thrilled that I had learnt this song that she had showed me and that she had really liked. And on top of that, it was her own guru who was singing it. And usually I don't send her much, and she was very surprised to have received it from me. And I could still hear her voice through the phone today. The amount of happiness and joy that came through her voice, I can never forget that day. Solla Vallayo in Ragam Kirvani, Talam Setadi. Rina சொல்ல வல்லாயோ கிளியே சொல்ல நீ வல்லாயோ சொல்ல வல்லாயோ கிளியே சொல்ல நீ வல்லாயோ கிளியே சொல்ல வல்லாயோ கிளியே சொல்ல நீ வல்லாயோ கிளியே சொல்ல வல்லாயோ கிளியே சொல்ல நீ வல்லாயோ கிளியே சொல்ல வல்லாயோ வல்லவேல் முருகன் வல்லவேல் முருகன் தன்னை இங்கு வல்லவேல் முருகன் தன்னை இங்கு வல்லவேல் முருகன் தன்னை இங்கு வந்து கலந்து மகிழ்ந்து கூலாவென்று வந்து கலந்து மகிழ்ந்து ஊலாவென்று வந்து கலந்து மகிழ்ந்து கூலாவென்று சொல்ல வல்லாயோ கிளியே சொல்ல நீ வல்லாயோ கிளியே சொல்ல வல்லாயோ கிளியே அள்ளி குலத்தருகே ஒரு நாள் அந்தி பொருதினில்லே அள்ளி குலத்தருகே ஒரு நாள் அந்தி பொருதினில்லே அங்கோ முல்லை செடி அதன் முல்லை செடி அதன் செய்த வினை முற்றும் மறந்திட காற்றதனே என்று முல்லை செடி அதன் செய்த வினை சொல்ல வல்லாயோ கிளியே சொல்ல நீ வல்லாயோ கிளியே சொல்ல வல்லாயோ கிளியே சொல்ல நீ வல்லாயோ சொல்ல நீ வல்லாயோ சொல்ல நீ வல்லாயோ ஓ no Thank you so much, Auntie, for everything you've taught us. Your music, your teachings will live on, not just through me, but through all your students all over the world. You were such a great person, and you will be remembered by all of us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Avinash. A soulful rendition of a soulful raga. Those of you who never heard Auntie sing Kiravani, please go and find that recording now. It's one of the songs that attracted me to Carnatic music in the first place. We now have our final item, and it is a major one. It's a dance performance by Bhavan students trained and choreographed by Prakash Yadugade. Very quickly, they are Shivahami, Archita, Vani, Lakshmi, Madhu, Tevayani, Jyoti, Abhirami, Roshani, and Lakshajani. The vocal is by Auntie, and this was actually live recorded at a concert, so it wasn't set for dance, but Guruji has cleverly and artfully set it to dance. So Auntie is in vocal, accompanied by her two stalwarts, her two favorites, her two wingmen, Sri M. Balachanda on the mridangam and Sri Balu Raghuraman on the violin. Could I invite Lakshmi to come and tell us about the item?
Vanakkam. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. The next piece in tonight's tribute towards our very dearest SIVASAKTHI Auntie is presented by Guruji Sri Prakash Yadagote of the Bhavan and his Bharatanatyam students. For all Bharatanatyam students at the Bhavan, for over 30 years, Guruji and Auntie have been our right eye and our left eye in seeing this world and guiding our paths. They have nurtured and guided us each of our steps in the Hatti Hall, on this stage, and in life. We struggle to describe how much Auntie has gifted us in this world of art. It is more than providing vocal for 78 of Guruji's 90 Arangetrams, in addition to producing the dance drama Kadirgama Kuruvanji and musical direction for Jayadeva's Gita Govinda. It is more than instructing and nurturing her own disciple, Avinash, who we have just listened to continue her legacy in providing vocal accompaniment for dance. It is more than teaching us dance vocal on Sunday mornings. It is more than that knowing smile of a shared joke or her supportive smile during our struggles. It is more than the hours, weeks, months, years helping us understand the deeper spiritual meaning of dancers brought to life with her voice. It is more than the open doors of her classroom and her heart, ready for any question or worry we have. It is more than every advice she gave us for each eye movement, hand gesture, or bhava. It is more than anything we can ever describe in words, because that is what Auntie was, someone indescribable, incomparable, and unparalleled in this universe. One of the many teachings that Auntie stressed to us was the power of the Guru Shishya Parampara, the commitment, respect, and devotion towards your Guru, and eternal spiritual connection. Auntie was the personification of bhakti towards your Guru as a way of achieving moksha. We therefore present today an item with our deepest respects to our dearest vocal Guru and her Guru, Yalpanam Sri N. Veeramani Iyer. Karpagavalli is one of his beautiful compositions, which has become synonymous with Auntie's beautiful voice. We have taken a recording from her vocal concert today to present to you as a Bharatanatyam item. It is dedicated to our Amman, she who is benevolent, compassionate, and with us in every corner of our lives. As we look up towards Shakti for guidance in these unexpected times, we find our beloved SIVASAKTHI auntie. She is not only melodiously singing for us to enjoy, dance, and lose ourselves in. Forevermore, Auntie is now singing amongst and for the gods in their heavenly abode, as we have illustrated in tonight's choreography. And so, today and every day after that, we look up to and celebrate our most very dearest SIVASAKTHI auntie. Thank you.
கற்பகவல்லினின் பொற்பதங்கள் பிடித்தே நற்கதி அருள்வாயம்மா. கற்பகவல்லினின் பொற்பதங்கள் பிடித்தே நற்கதி அருள்வாயம்மா. தேவி நற்கதி அருள்வாயம்மா. தேவி கற்பகவல்லின் பொற்பதங்கள் பிடித்தே நற்கதி அருள்வாயம்மா. தேவி கற்பகவல்லின் பொற்பதங்கள் பிடித்தே நற்கதி அருள்வாயம்மா. தேவி கற்பகவல்லினின் பொற்பதங்கள் பிடித்தே நற்கதி அருள்வாயம்மா. பற்பலரும் போற்றும் பற்பலரும் போற்றும் பரிமயிலாபுரியில், பற்பலரும் போற்றும் பரிமயிலாபுரியில், சிற்பம் நிறைந்த உயர் சிங்கார கோயில் கொண்ட, சிற்பம் நிறைந்த உயர் சிங்கார கோயில் கொண்ட, சிற்பம் நிறைந்த உயர் சிங்கார கோயில் கொண்ட கற்பகவல்லினின் பொற்பதங்கள் பிடித்தே நற்கதி அருள்வாயம்மா. நீந்த வேளை தன்னில் சேயனென்னே மறந்தாள், நீந்த வேளை தன்னில் சேயனென்னே மறந்தாள். நான் இந்த நாளிடத்தில் நாடுதல் யாரிடமோ, நீந்த வேளை தன்னில் சேயனென்னே மறந்தாள். நான் இந்த நாளிடத்தில் நாடுதல் யாரிடமோ, ஏன் இந்த மௌனமம்மா ஏழை என்ன கருணையே, இந்த மௌனமம்மா ஏழை என்ன கருணை. ஆனந்த பைரவியே ஆதரித்தாளும் அம்மா, ஆனந்த பைரவி தாழும் அம்மா கற்பகவல்லின் பொற்பதங்கள் பிடித்தேனே நற்கத்தி அருள்வாயம்மா எல்லோர்க்கும் இன்பங்கள் எழிலாயிரஞ்சியனும் நல்லாக்கி வைத்திடும் நாயகியே எல்லோர்க்கும் இன்பங்கள் எழிலாயிரஞ்சியனும் நல்லாக்கி வைத்திடும் நாயகியே நித்ய கபாலி காதல் புரியும் அந்த கல்யாணியே கபாலி காதல் புரியும் அந்த உல்லாசியே உமா உன்னை நம்பினேனம்மா உல்லாசியே உமா உன்னை நம்பினேனம்மா கற்பகவல்லின் பொற்பதங்கள் பிடித்தேனே நற்கதி அருள்வாயம்மா நாகேஸ்வரி நீ நம்பிடும் என்னை காப்பாய் நாகேஸ்வரி நீ நம்பிடும் என்னை காப்பாய் வாகேஸ்வரி மாயே வாராயுது தருணம் நாகேஸ்வரி நீ நம்பிடும் என்னை காப்பாய் வாகேஸ்வரி மாயே வாராயுது தருணம் வாகேஸ்வரி பார்வதியே
would like to call Sri Prakash Yadagude to the stage to stand with his students and stand in front of Auntie. Thank you. Beautifully choreographed and so emotional to hear Auntie's voice. In case you thought you were alone in this room, there's a lot of people online watching this and reading their comments. They are sharing in our emotions here tonight. The final message, I would like to invite Akshay Prakash, brother of Avinash and son of Sri Prakash Yadagude, to come up and say a few words from the most important person in this room and at this time, and that's Shivanesan uncle. So please, can you come and take the stage?
On behalf of Shivanesan uncle and family, we would like to thank everyone who helped during this very difficult time, especially to those who were with us throughout, had visited with food and expressed their condolences through cards, messages, and calls. This made what could have been a difficult journey much smoother to manage. Shiva uncle would like to say a special thank you to Shri uncle, Shyamala auntie, and Rani auntie for organizing the ceremonies and the last rites perfectly, as according to Shivasakthi auntie's wish, within such a short period of time. To Nandaji and all those at the Bhavan, Uncle would like to thank you for planning and holding this memorial event dedicated to Auntie. He would also like to say a special thank you to Guru Sri Prakash Yadagude, who has been her biggest strength and best friend at the Bhavan since the beginning. He would like to thank also all the Bhavan staff for their support. While Auntie's soul and body had peacefully departed from this world, her music lives on. We are extremely happy to inform you that Auntie's music is now available on 21 platforms, including Apple Music, Spotify, Amazon Prime Music, and etc. A very special thanks to Nivedita Venkatesh for initiating this. It was Auntie's wish for all her students to continue music and pass on our tradition. You can continue to learn and practice through her many platforms and from her senior students. Uncle would like to remind everyone that Auntie never felt she didn't have her own child, instead considered all her students as her own. For the memorial, Uncle wanted to share a memory or two about Auntie. However, today mentioned there was no need because since her passing, he has recognized and seen, especially in this very hall, there are countless memories of and teachings from Auntie, most of which you had received under the Bhavan's roof. He further recognizes that there are many of you who would eagerly want to share and relive those memories. He feels content to know that Auntie had played a pivotal role in the upbringing for each and every one of you. Therefore, as a final note, Uncle would like to mention that whatever memories or teachings you hold, they are beautiful, personal, and incomparable, and he asks you to cherish and share them forever. On your way out, please can you collect a small token of remembrance which includes a timeless calendar for you to keep forever. Today, we give thanks and celebrate to our great Guru, Srimati SIVASAKTHI SIVANESAN. Om Shanti.
ஓம் சக்தி வணக்கம். அண்மையில் இறை பதமடைந்த அமரர் சிவசக்தி சிவனேசன் அம்மையார் அவர்களுக்கு எங்களுடைய அஞ்சலிகளை தெரிவிப்பதோடு, அவர் தன் பதியோடு தான் பிறந்த நாட்டில் வடக்கு, கிழக்கு, மட்டக்களப்பு, அம்பாறை, புலனறுவை மாவட்டங்களிலே செய்த சேவையினை காணொலி வாயிலாக வண்ணப்படத்தின் மூலம் தருவதில் பெருமகிழ்வடைகின்றோம். லண்டனிலே வாழுகின்ற புலம்பெயர் வாழ் உறவுகள் அனைவருக்கும் எங்களுடைய இனிதான வணக்கங்கள். வடக்கு மண் ஈண்டெடுத்த இசைக்குயில் இலங்கையிலும் இசைத்து கடல் கடந்து லண்டனிலும் இசைத்த சிவசக்தி அம்மையார் மறைந்தாலும் அவர் பாடிய பல நூறு பாடல்கள் எம் செவிக்கு தேனாய் ஒலிக்கின்றது.
சின்னஞ்சிறு பெண் போலே சிற்றாடையுடையுடுத்தே, சின்னஞ்சிறு பெண் போலே சிற்றாடை சக்கரராஜ சிம்மாசனேஸ்வரி ஸ்ரீலலிதாம்பிகையே.
அம்மையாருக்கு இக்கவிதை சமர்ப்பணம். இலங்கையின் வடக்கிலே பிறந்து இதமான கல்வியினை பயின்று சிறப்பான பட்டமதை பெற்று சிந்திக்கும் ஆசானாய் திகழ்ந்து இசையோடு பாடல்களை பாடி இசையரசி ஆகிய எம் தாயே, பல நூறு மாணவர்கள் புவியில் பட்டமதை பெற்றார்கள் உன்னால். சிவனேசன் ஐயா கரம் கோர்த்து சிறப்போடு இல்லறத்தில் வாழ்ந்து கடல் கடந்து புலம் பெயர்ந்து சென்றும் கலைகளையே கற்பித்தாய் அங்கும். இசை நடன கலையரங்கை ஏற்றி இசைக்கு ஒலி கொடுத்து லண்டன் நாட்டில் பலரும் உன்னை பாராட்டும் வண்ணம் பண்புடனே நீ வாழ்ந்தாய் அம்மா. சாதி மத பேதமேதும் இன்று சமத்துவமாய் வாழ வேண்டும் என்று கலாச்சார உடை அணிவோம் என்றும் கலையரசே நீ உரைத்தாய் அன்று. ஏழைகள் மேல் அன்புதனை காட்டி ஏழை துயர் துடைத்து சேவை செய்து வாழ்ந்த காலம் போதுமென்று சொல்லி வந்த வழி சென்றாயோ அம்மா. நீங்கள் உங்கள் கணவனோடு நீங்கள் பிறந்த நாட்டிலே செய்த சேவைகள் இத்தனை பணிகளையும் இத்தரையில் செய்து இப்பிறவி தனிலே இன்புற்று வாழ்ந்த திருமதி சிவசக்தி சிவனேசன் அம்மையார் தன் பதியுடன் இணைந்து துயருற்று தான் பிறந்த நாட்டிலே செய்த சேவையினை காணொலி வாயிலாக நாங்கள் தருகின்றோம். வீடில்லா விதவைகளுக்கு வீடமைத்து கொடுக்க உதவிக்கரம் நீட்டினீர்கள். ஆலய திருப்பணிகளுக்காக அள்ளி அள்ளி கொடுத்தீர்கள். ஆலயத்திற்கு மடப்பள்ளி கட்டிடம் அமைத்து கொடுக்க உதவினீர்கள். மட்டக்களப்பு மாவட்டத்திலே பிரதிஷ்டி பெற்ற கருமாரி அம்மன் ஆலயத்தை கட்டிக்கொண்டு வருகின்றீர்கள். குடிநீர் கிணறுகள் இல்லாத கிராமங்களுக்கு பல பொது கிணறுகளை அமைத்து கொடுத்தீர்கள். இல்லங்களுக்கு பல கொட்டு கிணறுகளை அமைத்து கொடுத்தீர்கள். பாடசாலை மாணவர்களுக்கு கற்றல் உபகரணங்கள், புத்தகப்பை, சப்பாத்து, நெடுந்தூரம் பாடசாலை செல்லும் மாணவ செல்வங்களுக்கு துவிச்சக்கர வண்டிகளை வழங்க உதவி புரிந்தீர்கள். வாழ்வாதார உதவியாக ஏழைகளுக்கு ஆடு வளர்ப்பு, மாடு வளர்ப்பு, கோழி வளர்ப்பு, தையல் இயந்திரங்கள், வீடுகள் புனரமைப்பு இவைகளெல்லாம் மனமுகந்து செய்தீர்கள் அம்மா. தென்னங்கண்டுகள், பழக்கன்று ஒவ்வொருவருடைய இல்லங்களிலும் நடுவதற்கு வழங்கினீர்கள். முதியவர்களுக்கு நூற்றுக்கணக்கானவர்களுக்கு குடியிருப்பு, களுவன்கேணி, ஆயித்தியமலை போன்ற பகுதிகளிலே வாழ்கின்ற முதியவர்களுக்கு நீங்கள் நுழம்புவலை, போர்வை, பெட்ஷீட் போன்றவற்றையெல்லாம் வழங்கினீர்கள். கோவிட்-19 நோயினால் பாதிக்கப்பட்டு வறுமையிலே வாடிய மக்களுக்கு பல நூறு குடும்பங்களுக்கு உலரணவு பொதிகளை வழங்கினீர்கள். ஆலயங்களிலே அன்னதான பணிகள், செவ்வாடை தொண்டர்களுக்கு துவிச்சக்கர வண்டிகளை எல்லாம் மனமுகர்ந்து வழங்கினீர்களே. இத்தனை நல்ல மகத்தான பணிகளையும் செய்து ஏழைகளின் துயரங்களை துடைத்து பிறந்த மனித பிறவியிலே மகத்தான பணிகள் செய்து பிறவி பயனடைந்த தாயே, நீங்கள் சுவர்க்க வாயிலில் என்றும் வாழ வேண்டும் என்று இறைவனை பிரார்த்திக்கின்றோம். ஓம் சக்தி. வணக்கம்.
So apologies, we've run a little bit over time and we won't keep you much longer. But I'm sure Auntie would agree it was a fantastic performance of music and dance and a celebration. Auntie was not a boastful person, and she would not have wanted me to leave this stage without talking about two people that have been with her every step of the way and are here today. There is a large family that Auntie has, but I really want you to put your hands and your hearts together for the first person, and that is Shankar Mama, who not only did the audio for many of her concerts, but has just been the epitome of what a brother should be. So Shankar Mama, we salute you. The other person, of course, is Shivanesan Uncle. And Uncle, what can I say? Wherever there was Auntie, there was Uncle. Sorry, getting a little emotional, but we always saw them together. And my mother, Kumari, my sister, Vidya, we were talking earlier this week, saying Uncle epitomizes the perfect spouse. Like, you are such a partner and continue to be that. And when we look at you, you are inspirational to the rest of us, how you were with Auntie. You know, like I say, where there was Auntie, there was Uncle. So, Uncle, if it's not too much, I'd love to ask you just to stand up and for everyone to salute you. So, Uncle, I want you to feel that you are truly loved, you know, and that's Auntie's love and our love. I started with a short reading, and if you will allow me one more minute, I want to end with one, because I was thinking, what does Auntie represent? What does she live and breathe? And I think she lived and breathed the idea of grace, which is a many-colored, many-faceted thing. So I will end with a 1-minute reading. Grace is never the servant of gratitude. It is potent and patient, thanked and thankless. It is a tide that never demands appreciation for lifting the stranded boat and flowing it free. It is the moon sharing her gentle gravity with no reward for raising the waves. Yet loving access to grace, to solve and save, can feel denied, unheard, and unavailable to me. As the cliff remains unmoved by the crying wind, so too do the measured minutes of my mind stand suffering in the slowness of time, and the hours of my life feel emptied of grace. But then, a quiet rising of realization brings the battered bridge of belief into my sight, showing and showering me with the brightest light only when I stand up to accept the dark. For grace sits in the sunshine of our shadow. It grows in the darkest corners of our life. It does not stand on the mountain might of ego, and it does not live in the flattery of fame. Grace is the voice that answers your tears. It sits with you at the bottom of your life. It reaches beyond hope to grow your joy. It sparks your heart to flame your faith. Then, like a surging wave with a watery dance, the truth of your words, the words of your heart, and the song of your life all flood with grace. That was Auntie, and that is what I hope we all take forward. Grace. So thank you all so much for coming on behalf of the Bhavan. There will be a short food served in the foyer. And final words to Parvati Auntie.
Nothing much to say, just to thank Ramnath Girao, a student. Now he is in the executive committee member, and he is a great personality. Wherever or whenever we required him, he has extended his service without any hesitation. He had that time, and he found that time, which you have witnessed. Ramnath Girao, a big thanks from the Bhavan and from the Bhavanites and all the friends whom you have dealt. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.